look at our vocabulary words that we have for this week. So the first word we saw was the word figure. Figure. Everyone say the word figure. Figure means, if we go at the bottom of our page, it says to think or expect. The sentence that it was used in says, I figure we'll have a snow day, said Ellie, if it keeps up like this for another couple of hours. So Ellie is basically saying, I think we'll have a snow day, or I'm expecting us to have a snow day. So the word figure means to think or expect. Our next vocabulary word was the word tossed. Tossed. Say the word tossed. The word tossed at the bottom of our page means through easily. In our story, it says, suddenly the wind tossed a snow shovel across the lawn. So the word tossed means through easily. The next word we saw was the word clang. Clang. The word clang means a loud sound caused by banging metal. In our story, it says, it hit the shed with a loud clang. So a clang is a loud sound caused by metal. Our next vocabulary word is the word fault. Fault. Say the word fault. The word fault means responsibility for something wrong. In our story, the word fault was used when it says, I don't want it to be my fault if you can't get up in the morning. So the word fault means responsibility for something wrong. We sometimes hear this word when people say, it's not my fault. If something breaks, somebody might say, it's not my fault it broke. The dog knocked it over. It's not my fault. Our next word was the word plenty. Plenty. Say the word plenty. The word plenty means a large amount or more than enough. In our story, it says, my teacher said this is one of the only places where there are plenty of wolves. So the word plenty means a large amount or more than enough. And our last vocabulary word is the word jumbled. Jumbled. Say the word jumbled. The word jumbled means mixed together. In our story, the word jumbled was used when it says, the wolves all put their heads down and jumbled together. So the word jumbled means mixed together. So today in our lesson, before we reread our story, Jack and the Wolf, we are going to go over some of our target skills again. Now, if you remember yesterday, we talked about how one of our target skills is understanding characters. Now, the characters are the people and animals in a story. So, for example, in our story, Jack and the Wolf, Jack is one of our characters. The wolf is one of our characters. Nell and the townspeople are our characters, and even the sheep. We also talked about the genre of our story, how this is a fable, which is a short story that tells a lesson. That teaches a lesson. So as we read through our story the first time, we were looking for a lesson about life and also events that happened over and over in the story. So as we reread through our story again, be thinking, do you notice an event that is happening over and over? So as we talked about, Jack is a character in our story, Jack and the Wolf. So as we reread our story, think about what Jack says and does. You can use this text evidence to figure out what Jack is like. What does Jack do at the beginning of the story? What does Jack say? And we will not be filling out a chart like below. We will just be having classroom discussions about this. Most fables teach a lesson about how people should act. In this story, one event happens more than once. What does Jack keep doing? What do his friends do? How does Jack change at the end of the story? This story has an important message. What did you learn from it? So as we reread our story, Jack the Wolf, be thinking about what event happens more than once? What does Jack keep doing in the story? What do his friends do? And how does Jack change at the end of the story? Be thinking about these questions and the story's important message as we reread our story today. Jack the Wolf by Chris Chabon. Our essential question is, what lessons can you learn from story characters? So let's get started. Once upon a time, Jack sat on a big hill. So let's read that together. Once upon a time, Jack sat on a big hill. Let's look at the picture that we see on this page. Where does the story take place? The story takes place on a hill. We can also see a small town in the back with houses. Jack had every sheep with him. "It is not fun to sit," said Jack. So let's read that together. Jack had every sheep with him. "It is not fun to sit," said Jack. So what characters have we met so far? We have met Jack, and we have also met some sheep. So we have met Jack and some sheep. This page also has two of our sight words on it. We have the word every and the word said. I will yell, "Wolf!" for fun. So let's read that together. I will yell, "Wolf!" for fun. His friends ran up the hill to help. They did not see Wolf. So let's read it together. His friends ran up the hill to help. They did not see Wolf. Why do you think, boys and girls, that Jack yelled wolf? Why do you think Jack yelled wolf? Well, we know that Jack said he was bored, so if somebody yells a word like wolf, that might scare people and think that a wolf is there. So after Jack yells wolf, why do his friends run up the hill to help him? Why do Jack's friends run up the hill when they hear Jack yell, "Wolf!" Well, if you guys heard Mrs. Collier scream, "Wolf!" you would probably think that I saw a wolf and I might be in trouble. So just like how Jack did, his friends are coming to help him and save him and the sheep from a wolf. Jack sat back on the hill. I will yell, "Wolf!" So let's read that together. Jack sat back on the hill. I will yell, "Wolf!" Our next page has a picture of Jack yelling the word, "Wolf!" Oh my goodness, look at the sheep's faces. How do you think the sheep might be feeling? This sheep in the front looks very scared. His friends ran back up the hill. They did not see Wolf. His friends ran back up the hill. They did not see Wolf. So why do you think that Jack would yell "Wolf" again? Why would Jack yell "Wolf" again? Well, Jack yelled "Wolf" the first time because he was bored. So we could say that Jack is still bored. So he wants to scare the town people again and yell "Wolf." But why do Jack's friends run back up the hill? Why did they come back up the hill? Well, Jack's friends heard Jack yell "Wolf," and when they heard him yell it again, they thought the wolf might be there this time. Jack sat back on the hill. Jack sat back on the hill. Wolf got up on a rock. Wolf got up on a rock. Jack and his sheep ran away. Jack and his sheep ran away. So class, this time we can see in our picture that Jack is screaming, "Wolf!" Why is Jack yelling "Wolf" this time? Well, if we look back, we can see there really is a wolf this time. So before, Jack was just yelling it because he was bored, but now there really is a wolf. What do you think might happen next? "Did you hear me call?" said Jack. "You did not come." "Did you hear me call?" said Jack. "You did not come." "You can't not trick us," said Nell. "You cannot trick us," said Nell. So let's look at those last two pages. What are the sheep doing in both of these pictures? The sheep are all over. What do you think they might be doing? Well, it looks like the sheep are trying to look different or wear a disguise so that the wolf will not come back for them. and some are trying to escape or climb high and hide away from the wolf. Nell says, "You cannot trick us." What lesson do you think Nell teaches Jack? So now that we have reread our story, Jack and the Wolf, we are going to be reading our decodable for the day, Tess and Jack. If you also remember yesterday, we were working on our phonics skills of the k, ck sound and also double final consonants, meaning the last two letters at the end of a word are the same. So as we read through our story, let's be looking for words that end in the k, ck sound and that also end in a double final consonant. So for example, let's look at the title of our decodable, Tess and Jack. Tess ends with two S's. This is a double final consonant like we learned earlier. And also the word Jack. The word Jack ends in the k sound, ck. So, as we read our decodable, Mrs. Collier will read a sentence, and then I want you to read the sentence as well. So, as we read our decodable, I want you to try to read the sentences with me. If you need to listen to me say it first and then try, that's okay. Our decodable begins with, "Call me," said Tess. "Call me," said Jack. Let's read that again. "Call me," said Tess. "Call me," said Jack. Do you see any words that are double final consonants? Do you see any words that have a double final consonant? Look at the word call. The word call ends in two L's. This is an example of a double final consonant. And like we saw in our title, the names Tess and Jack, Tess ends in a double final consonant of SS, and Jack ends in the ck sound. Tess is sick. Tess is sick in bed. Let's try reading that together again. Tess is sick. Tess is sick in bed. Tess cannot play, but Tess can call Jack. Tess cannot play, but Tess can call Jack. Oh, poor Tess. She is so sick in her bed. In our picture, it looks like she has some tissues, some soup, maybe some bread or crackers, and some juice. Oh, it is no fun being sick. But Tess said she can still call Jack. Let's see what happens next. Oh no, Jack is sick. Jack is sick in bed. Let's read that again. Jack is sick. Jack is sick in bed. Jack cannot play, but Jack can call Tess. Jack cannot play, but Jack can call Tess. Oh, poor Jack. Now Jack is sick too. Let's see what happens next. Tess is well. Tess is back. Let's read that together. Tess is well. Tess is back. Tess can play. Jack is well. Tess can play. Jack is well. Jack is back. Jack can play. Jack is back. Jack can play. Tess and Jack can bat. Tess and Jack can bat. Wow, there are a lot of different words on this page. Let's look first for words that end in a double final consonant, meaning the last two letters of the word are the same. Do you see any on our page? I see some. The word well. The word well ends in two L's. So we have the word well and we have the word well again. Also the word Tess, which we've talked about, are all of our double final consonants. What about the k sound, CK? Where do we see the CK sound in a word? The name Jack, we see it. I know we've talked about that. What other word do we see that ends in the CK sound? The word back. The word back also ends in the CK sound. I am so glad that Tess and Jack are back and feeling better. Tess has a mitt. Jack has his bat. Let's read that again. Tess has a mitt. Jack has his bat. Quick, said Tess. Hit it. Quick, said Tess. Hit it. Tess and Jack had fun. Tess and Jack had fun. So on this page, besides the names Tess and Jack, do we see any words that either end in CK sound or any words that have a double final consonant? Let's look. The word mitt. The word mitt ends in TT, which would make it a double final consonant. Let's look for a word that ends in the CK. Do you see it? The word quick. The word quick ends in CK. Will Jack call Tess? Yes, yes, Jack will. Will Jack call Tess? Yes, yes, Jack will. Will Tess call Jack? Yes, yes, Tess will. Will Tess call Jack? Yes, yes, Tess will. So besides our names Tess and Jack, do we see any words that end with a double final consonant? Mrs. Collier sees quite a few. The word will ends with two L's, making it a double final consonant. Do you see the other one? The word call. The word call also ends with a double L, making this a double final consonant. Now we're going to practice some more of our phonics skills using our reader's notebook. For the end of our lesson today, we are going to be using our reader's notebook, so that is our workbook with the cat on the front of it. And we're going to be working on page 74. So if you need to pause this video to go grab your reader's notebook and turn it to page 74 that I just circled at the bottom, you can absolutely go ahead and pause the video. If you are all ready to get started, then let's get started. So we are working with double final consonants and the k, ck sound. So on our worksheet today, it wants us to name each picture. Write the letters from the box that stand for the ending sound. So we have the sounds. We have k, g, s, oo. So you are going to look at these pictures and notice how they are started for us. We are looking for the ending sound. So for example, let's look at number 1. We have a picture of what is this a picture of? A duck. And what we have filled in so far is qu, a. So I need to find out what two letters are going to fit here. Is it qu, a, k, qu, a, g, qu, as, or qu, owl? We're going to choose the k, ck ending and write C, K in the blank, which makes the word quack, quack. So you are going to go through and look at the beginning of these letters and think about what the picture is. So on number 2, this might be a little tricky. This is a picture of a snake, but in our blanks, we're not writing the word snake. So think about what sound does a snake make and look for that ending sound up here. So that is how we will end our lesson today. So I want you to sound out the beginning of these sounds and find which ending fits best. Is it going to be the k sound, CK, or a double final consonant of g, s, oo? That will be the end of our lesson today once you have this finished up, and I will see you guys later.